Welcome to another episode of Think Old Bridge. Today we'll be discussing a topic that's very important to everyone here in Old Bridge. It is our tax rate. I will be talking to Mayor Debbie Walker. I will be talking to CFO Dawn Swoboda, who is also our tax collector. And I have our Business Administrator here, Anahita Feltz. So we would like to discuss with you what has been going on recently in our last tax bills. So first question for you ladies, what government entity does the township bill taxes for?
So the entities that the township bills taxes for are the Old Bridge Board of Education, the Middlesex County Open Space, the library, and our 4 fire districts. As you all know, we are the collector of the taxes, and then we have to distribute the portions out to each of those entities.
Okay, you're the main body, and through you goes all the taxes are distributed out.
Yeah, by state law, we have to collect all the taxes.
Okay. And what is the breakdown of where the taxes go?
So each entity sets the budget and the tax dollar amount. Once that is done, they send their budget to the state for certification. At that time, the state will then certify these tax levies to the Middlesex County Board of Taxation, who finalizes the tax rate to be billed to all property owners here in Old Bridge. So again, we don't determine each of those tax. It's based on the budget for each of those entities. The Board of Education controls the school budget. The library is set by state statute, I believe, and then et cetera. So the only portion that we can control is the municipal portion.
The local, what goes on here locally.
Yes, correct.
Only the municipal tax.
Right.
And the library tax goes up by state statute every year. We have absolutely no control of the
There's
library.
a minimum amount we
Right.
have to pay to them.
Even if people think that the library is associated with
Yeah,
the township,
they
but
would.
we have no
Right.
control over it.
Right. Well, that makes sense if it's a separate entity, but people see it as something here in town, so they feel that it's part of us. And the same thing with open space, correct?
Correct, that's set by Middlesex County as well.
Okay.
And I think it's important to note too that until the state passes their budget, we cannot send out tax bills because the state will not certify any of the tax levies, whether it be the municipal, the school, the county, any budget that relies on state aid. You have to wait until the state adopts their budget, which is usually not until on or about June 30th. They usually go up right up to the end.
Last minute.
Which does cause a problem for tax billing, and that's one of the reasons why we decided to go with estimated tax bills this year, which we'll go into a little further.
Right, and that was known. I mean, you presented well at the council meeting, explaining, why this was necessary. And I believe all the council people agreed and, voted for you to do that because it was something that needed to be done.
Yeah, there's many municipalities that do estimated bills every year just for cash flow purposes because
stable, keep it.
Yeah, because even by statute, we're supposed to mail the tax bill by June 14th. We can't do that if the state doesn't pass their budget till June 30th. And even at that point, in order to get the bills out on time for August tax quarter, they have to be in the mail by July 15th. So you have between that July 1st, July 15th, that 2-week period, you have 4th of July holiday in there. It's very hard to get the rates, mail out over 20,000
It's
bills.
difficult. We're a big town too. So, I mean, not that it's, I'm sure, small town, big town, but at the end of the day, when you are as big as we are and you have as many to do, it's a lot. It really is. And you have to follow the law. But I do think the council appreciated your, being giving us the whole presentation. And I believe every single one of us understood it and voted for it. So that was,
Well, we knew we were going to be looking at a large, we were hearing a large increase from the school board. So by state law, we were only allowed to do 5% at the first ones, but we knew, so we were trying to be prepared.
Yeah, you have to be. You got to be ahead of the curve when it's your responsibility and you take it seriously. It's a big undertaking.
I know for me, one of the things that factored into doing the estimated bills this year was just not so much the amount of the increase of the school, but the uncertainty that seemed to be around their budget. In talking with the BA over at the school, they were unsure. They weren't hearing back from the state whether their budget that they adopted was going to be approved, if they were going to change it. And if they do a change like that last minute, and we can't send the tax bills out,
it would be detrimental.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It would
you
cause a
have to
huge
think
tax
about,
flow-
you have
tax,
to think about what's
cash
right
flow
for the
issue.
whole, right, for the town. You can't, you can't wait until things happen
Right,
sometimes.
correct.
Sometimes you got to preempt it and be ready.
We have to be proactive in situations like
absolutely.
this.
If you're not,
Yeah, we can't stop the cash flow. Right?
no. Okay, another question that people were asking too, the municipal portion counts for only 16% of the total budget. What does this cover for the town?
Well, so the 16%, the municipal levy was only 16%. I think we've touched upon in several of our presentations at council meeting that the school percentage is 60%, the Middlesex County percentage that they receive is 17%, county open space is 1%, fire district is 4%, and library is 2%. So out of all of that, the township only makes up 16% of the total tax rate. That includes for us public safety, so that's your police department, OEM. It actually also does include, and I think people don't realize, the contribution that we make towards OB-TEMS, our EMS service here in town. I think it's important to note that. Public works, so roads, recycling, snow removal, vehicle maintenance and building maintenance for the operations of the township. Health and senior services, parks and facilities, as well as recreation. As you've seen, we've been developing all of our parks, so that goes towards that as well. The building department, you need your permits, code enforcement, enforcing those permits, community development, which is engineering, planning, and zoning. So that 16% goes to the salaries and wages of all of those employees in those different departments, but also to the operational budget of those departments, the equipment that's needed, the supplies that are needed, everything that goes towards those things.
And paving and drainage.
Yeah, there's
Correct.
a lot. There's a lot of expenses to run a town. How does this work? Does Old Bridge distribute revenue to all the entities?
Yes. So the township is required to collect for all the taxing districts. So you get usually the one bill a year, unless we do estimated bills like this year.
Yeah.
But then the township distributes out to all those entities that we just listed. So the money's distributed quarterly on the 15th, right after the collection period, to the county and the 4 fire districts. And we distribute monthly to the school and the library.
Now, if there's any shortfalls anywhere, how does that work?
The municipality takes the hit for that.
Correct.
So here,
Because obviously we never have 100%.
Well, I was going to say, I would doubt that's
Yes.
possible. I mean,
it's
just being realistic.
Yeah.
It's usually in the 99% range, which is excellent.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah.
But it's
Still a lot of money.
Yeah.
There's still some tax
Yeah.
delinquencies that the township has to make up
Right.
because those other entities still has to get their full amount.
Well, that's
we
it.
might not receive our full amount because
Right.
now we need to make up the difference.
Right.
So on that 16%, it's even reduced further.
Right.
When you think about
That's what when you think about it is right. It's very difficult because anything that is missing or short
Yeah.
has to be made up. So even if, like she said, 1%, it's a lot. It's a very expensive proposition.
It's well over $2 million.
Which entities saw the largest increases in 2025 in the budget?
Well, for 2025, the largest increase came from the school at 13.87%. Being that the school makes up 60% of the levy, it's a huge increase. Middlesex County open space increased 11.11%, the library 10.2%, but both of those entities are smaller. They're only about 1-2% of the total tax levy. So even though it's a high increase, it's not as much of a dollar,
relative terms,
dollar
right.
impact as the school.
And we can't control the library portion.
Middlesex County was 6.56%. And the municipal rate was only 1.58%. So when residents get their final tax bill, which should be mailed out in the beginning of September, they're going to see a total tax increase for the year of around 10%, varying slightly by fire district. It's
Right.
high, 9%, low
But-
10% range.
Right. But now our fiscal year is a little different than the state's
Yes.
fiscal. So
And the schools.
right. So how do you see this unfolding throughout 25 into 2026?
So the municipality is on a calendar year from
Right.
January to December, and that's the way we bill our taxes.
Right.
The school is on a fiscal year from July to June. So some of this increase is going to spill over into the 2026. And then obviously it's unknown what next year's school
that
budget
of
will
course,
bring.
but there will still be repercussions
Correct.
from this increase into the 2026 calendar year.
Correct.
I just, so that people are aware that there is more.
We want the residents to be aware
Yeah.
that next year they might
Right.
even get a bigger
Right.
increase.
And
Correct.
that this is unfortunately, this
It's out
is
of our control.
Correct.
Yeah, and the way we bill our year versus the school year, this can happen, and this is what will happen this year.
Correct.
So,
As you can see by the 1.58%, we are just good stewards of our money. We work very hard to keep the tax rate as low as possible for all the services we do.
And I would say a good amount of our increases are due to variables out of our control, so benefits, pension, and those types of
healthcare
things.
has gotten,
So
Recycling.
So those were probably the three biggest factors that I would say we
they're
can
the
attribute
big
to
cost
our
drivers. They are.
increase. Exactly. And looking ahead to 26, we've already started working on our budget for 26, just kind of looking at where our departments are, but also forecasting a little bit of what's going to happen with the benefits and things like that. And we have to keep that in mind. Those variables you can't control, and that's going to impact our departments on how we budget for them as well, so that we can keep our tax increase as low as we can for our residents.
Yeah. We try to make the best and get as much resources as far as grants and all kinds of things to make it as reasonable as possible. But unfortunately, there has been a lot, and we've faced a lot as a town. I mean, we had the whole cleanup down at the Lawrence Harbor, and that in itself too was a massive undertaking. We really had a budget for that as well, and that was a lot of money. Okay, this year, why does the fourth quarter show such a large increase? And they got a lot of calls on that. I did.
Yes. So this year, as I stated, the township sent out estimated third quarter bills. With the estimated bills, the state allows a range of within 5%, either lower or higher than last year's.
They set a limit as to what you can. Okay.
Of last year's bill.
Right.
So we had settled on 4.79%. So that's what you see in the third quarter estimate, about roughly a 5%, let's say, increase. The actual increase will be around 10%, plus or minus, couple hundredths there. One thing I did want to go over that I went over last week at the council meeting is how taxes are billed, because one of the big questions we get is always, just in a normal billing cycle, why are third and fourth quarter higher than first and second? And then this year, obviously, estimated came out a little differently. So just in a simple example, if your 2024 taxes were $10,000 and you had a 10% increase for 2025, your total taxes for 25 would be $11,000. Now, first and second quarter are always a preliminary bill based on the previous year's taxes. So if you take the $10,000, divide it by 4, you bill $2,500 for first quarter, $2,500 for second quarter of 2025. Then when we get the final billing, now your total taxes for 2025 are $11,000. So you take the $11,000, you subtract out $2,500, you're left with $6,000. That $6,000 gets divided over third and fourth quarter evenly, so it's $3,000 a quarter. So $11,000 total for the year. 2026 first and second quarter is going to be preliminary. The $11,000 divided by 4, so it's $2,750 first quarter, $2,750 second quarter. This year, with the estimated billing, like I said, let's just round that 4.79% up to 5%. So first and second quarter are still that $2,500. Third quarter is going to be 5% of last year's taxes, which would be $10,500. Divide that by 4. $2,625 for third quarter. Now when it comes time to do final billing, you take that $11,000, subtract out $2,500 first quarter, $2,500 second quarter, and the $2,625 third quarter, and you're left with $3,375. So this is why people are seeing the fourth quarter's already posted online. So people are seeing we're getting a lot of calls. Why did my taxes go up 25, 30%? They didn't. You're still being billed the same amount as if, you know, we were in a normal billing cycle. You're still getting billed essentially that 11,000 number. It's just the breakout is different.
Yeah, and it's difficult when people see that. Their first initial reaction is, oh my God. I mean, you can understand it when you're just looking at the numbers. I mean, when you break it down, you understand it, but it's very difficult.
Well,
So
there was a drastic increase with the school board, though.
Yeah,
It was a very large amount this year.
and it really hit home. And
Especially
a lot
for
of
senior
people,
citizens, young families.
Yes.
Yes.
It's difficult. It really, really is. You just, you know, you have to take a little time to absorb all this, and people do have questions. That's why I think we needed this program. We needed you to come to the council meeting, just trying to make them understand. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but we would like to try to at least explain what happened, because we don't want people, you know, to think that we're just not listening to them.
Correct.
I would really encourage people to go to the Board of Education meetings and have
Do
a
that
say
too, sure.
in what go in the, because since 60% of your taxes come from there. I think people focus on the municipality because we collect the taxes, but most of your taxes are coming from the school board. So I think it's very important to people to attend meetings.
Yeah.
And we do have all the slides from the presentation that was done at the August 12th council meeting. They're up on the website. I do have here the increase for the average home in Old Bridge for 2025. So when we do our budget presentation in the spring, we always, in the slides, say for the average home in Old Bridge assessed at $157,373. We, in Old Bridge, we are assessed at around 30% of market value. So that's why your assessment is always going to show lower than what the market value of your house is. So for the average residential home in Old Bridge assessed at $157,373, the tax increase is about $898.21.
That's quite a big
Of that, the school accounts for $728.64. And the municipality portion is only an increase of $25.18.
Yeah, it's very important to note that.
Yes, it is. And even as far as assessment and the talk of the reassessment, you know, you've said it several times, it really is just a repositioning. It's not.
It's very important to note that if we were to do a reevaluation, that we could still only collect the same amount by taxation. We're not allowed to change how much we're getting, so it wouldn't help the budget.
It's not going to be an infusion of money.
Right. Yes. I mean, it would change who's paying what, but the bottom line is the same amount of money.
It's a redistribution.
So it's not going to change this bottom line at all. I know rumors were going around.
That was another. That was another thing that people had
and
put
also
out there.
when the town is eventually revaled, and those are brought up to market value. The actual rate itself is going to go down. So it's not, you won't be billed $5, $6 on your assessment. It would be probably more around $2.
Yeah, but the social media has put that out there as well.
Yes.
Because people have asked me about that, you know, also as that being a reason for, you know, having all this necessity to raise taxes. And like the mayor said, no, because it really is not. It
doesn't change the bottom line. As the one said, I think the township was the $25. You could see the large portion, 700 and something, was the school board. So
we're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to Think Oldbridge. Today, my guests are Mayor Debbie Walker, our CFO, and Tax Collector Dawn Swoboda, our Business Administrator Anahita Feltz. And today we're talking about our favorite topic, taxes. How can residents pay their taxes? What are their options?
Well, there's several options. You could pay online at oldbridge.com, either with a ACH debit using your bank account number, routing number. There's no fee for that. Or by credit card. There is a 2% fee. That is what the bank charges us. Most places now, you go to a restaurant, fast food place, they're tacking on 3.5%.
Yes. Yep.
So 2% is a bargain. However, when you're paying on a large amount,
Of course.
2% of a $1,500
Yeah.
tax bill is $30. So we
Exactly.
get that a lot, but
Yeah.
Well, it's something that you're paying too.
correct.
You
It
know,
goes right
really.
to pay the
Right.
credit
Yeah.
card fees.
And it's a convenience, unfortunately. Some
Yes.
people
Yes.
need the convenience.
It's very easy to pay online, though. That's
Yeah.
how
Oh,
I
I
do
would
it. It's
think
very
so.
easy.
Yes. You could pay by mail, check or money order only. Please don't mail us cash. At the tax window, cash or check only, or money order. We do not accept credit cards at the window, only online. We do have a drop box that's located right by the main doors of the administration building that's accessible 24/7. We put the drop box up during COVID. Residents like it because if you're working late, you want to stop by on the weekend, it's easy to come drop it. Sometimes people come in, the line's a little long, even though it usually moves quick, they just drop it in the drop box.
That's safe, yeah.
And we check it daily. And then also automatic withdrawal. This is a great option, especially if your mortgage company has been paying your taxes for the last 20, 30 years. People tend to forget that they have to pay this quarterly. So you can sign up with the township. We have a simple form you fill out. You give us a voided check, and then you provide us with an email address. So about a week before we're going to do it, we send you an email. You know, hey, Mrs. Smith, on or about August 5th, we're going to take this amount out for your taxes. So it gives people some time. And I know the question has come up. A lot of people call wanting to know why we don't do it on the 1st. Some people want to know why we don't wait till the last day of the grace period. We usually do it on or about the 5th of the month because it gives people time. And now a lot of things are direct deposited, but if you're getting a check on the 1st of the month, it gives you time to deposit it for it to clear before those taxes hit. So that's a great option that a lot of homeowners have
that
taken
makes
advantage
sense.
of.
Yep, that makes sense. I know there are tax relief programs available, and where can the residents apply for these?
Well, there's several tax relief programs. There's one for a veteran or a widow of a veteran. That's $250 a year off your taxes. Senior citizen, disabled, or surviving spouse. Again, $250 a year off your taxes. I know that's not much, but again, that's set by the state. That's the amount.
Well, but you make it available if you
Yes.
qualify.
For the senior, disabled, surviving spouse, there are income requirements. And those two applications are available through the tax assessor's office on the second floor. Then there are also some programs directly through the state. The Property Tax Reimbursement Program, which is also known as the Senior Freeze, the Anchor Program, and then the new one is the Stay New Jersey Property Tax Credit Program. For senior citizens, these three programs were rolled into one application. So the blue book that seniors used to get in the spring for the property tax freeze, they now got it. It went from the PTR one to the PAS one. So they fill out one form, it's all three applications, and then it goes directly to the state. For non-seniors, the state, I believe, is going to be rolling out in the next week or so the Anchor program.
Yes.
And then also the Stay New Jersey Property Tax Credit Program. And these, more information on these programs are available on our website, and we also have a link to the state's website.
Yeah, if you have access to that, or you can go to the library. Yes. They have the computers there.
Yeah.
And if you have questions, you can call and ask as far as
Yeah,
where
if
to
you
find
call our
everything.
tax office, you know, we're happy to
It's
explain that.
important to make sure you keep aware of those, though, because now, especially given the amount of taxes that we're paying, you want to make sure if you're eligible for something.
Exactly, what's out there. It doesn't cost anything to apply
Right,
for it.
right.
You know, and if you, like you mentioned, if you don't have a computer, don't have access to the internet, you can always go to the library
Yeah.
to be able to do that. So
Yeah.
And the state ones, I think that it's due at the end of October, so you have time to check it out.
You do, but everything that you can look into, you should.
Yeah.
Do you have anything anyone wants to add?
No, I just feel like if people have questions about their increase, they could contact the Board of Education for if they have any questions about that.
Okay.
If they have a website they could go to.
Right, and that will give you a breakdown of what's going on too in terms of the budget.
Yes.
Is that available online?
yep, their budget is posted on their website.
Yes.
Okay.
And they do a presentation, you know, same as we do.
Public
before
presentation
the-
that people
yes.
can attend and, you know, voice their opinions and concerns, you know. I think it's a very difficult climate for a lot of people. You know, next year we're going to see more of this the other half of the school tax hit us a little bit.
Right.
So we're also preparing for that. But I think what's important here is for people to stay, no pun intended, educated. You know, if
Right.
you're unsure, these breakdowns that we provided, the slides that we have up on our website, really explain this thoroughly. You know, doing the estimated tax bill created confusion, and we absolutely understand that. We understand that, you know, for people, okay, 2,500 coming out in the third quarter and 2,500 coming out in fourth quarter is better than 2,500 in the third quarter, and now I have to pay 3,600. We understand that, and we're sensitive to that, but we did not have a choice this year. This was really where we were at. So we are sensitive to people having
Absolutely.
that extra money coming out. In the end, you're still paying the same, but I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's important for people to really just, if they have questions, they are more than welcome to call the tax collections office. You know,
Or
we
email
have
Yeah,
correct.
taxcollection@oldbridge.com.
You know, social media again. I mean, you know, saying stuff like we didn't do our budget in time, so therefore
Our budget was passed on
you know,
April 8th,
therefore
yes.
this happened, and
No.
all kinds of
Yes.
misconstrued information that has really caused a lot of
Confusion.
confusion and anger. People are angry. I mean,
That's
you
why I
know,
wish that each entity could be the collector of the taxes, so the people would know where the taxes are being raised,
Yeah.
because they blame us because we by law have to collect the taxes,
Yeah.
so we get blamed
And
for it.
I would just say, don't shoot the messenger, especially the employees in the tax office,
Correct.
because
Yeah.
they're,
Maintain your
you know,
demeanor.
they're Old Bridge residents too. And like I said,
Yeah.
we understand the frustration, and we're used to dealing with it.
As unpleasant as the estimated tax bill were, they helped a little
Stabilize things.
because if we didn't have that, you would have seen a much larger shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you try to stabilize where you can and keep people calm and know that, you know, that there is a plan here and that we are trying to do the best we can.
Because next year we're going to see the other half of the tax
Right.
increase.
Well, that's the shoe that hasn't.
It dropped yet.
Yes, exactly. So we just want to prepare people, give them the information and the tools that they need. So if you have any more questions, please reach out. You can reach out to us, town, or else you can reach out to the Board of Education. Well, thank you very much again, ladies.
Thank you.
And have a great day. And thank you all, Old Bridge. Have a great day.